As we continue our journey together through the turning of the mandala wheel and within Aries season, we are now getting near to the end of Aries season itself. We are entering in through gate number 42 during these teachings, which is now going to bring us down into that sacral center within your human design chart. You're going to notice that we're also going to be staying in the sacral center for the remainder of Aries season. As we contemplate on gate number 42, increase, it also goes by another name. It goes by the name of finishing. So think of this as increasing your energy in order to finish and complete a cycle. So in the teachings of the I Ching, it tells us that finding your own wholesome, balanced, and naturally timed growth in your life encourages you to respond to all manner of experiences that come to you. Dispassionately watching how you catalyze growth, you may ultimately benefit from your efforts in other people's lives. So we are down in that sacral center, and you are going to want to take a look at your human design chart to notice if you have that colored in, which is known as defined, or if you have it white within your human design chart, which is known as undefined. For all of our generators and manifesting generators, you have a colored in, a defined sacral center. This is your life force energy, and beyond that, it is the way that your body speaks to you and lets you know your gut instincts, your yeses, your nos, your maybes, without the use of any words. And the more you get to know yourself and you recognize how your body tells you, yes, I want to do that. Yes, that is correct for me. Or no, I don't want to do that. No, that doesn't feel right. The more you tune into that, the more you are recognizing that this is in relationship to whether you have the available energy to do something or not. And the reason it is so important to understand that is your mind might really want to do something. It might be ready for an adventure. It might be ready to go have some fun. It might be ready just to take a break and throw caution to the wind. But your gut instinct, the body knows whether the timing of that is right or whether or not it will have to pay a higher price for a temporary indulgence down the road. So the more you tune into your body, the more you're aware of your sacral, your yeses, your nos, your maybes, and you really honor that in terms of this is my energy. This is my most valuable resource. Then you're going to allow yourself to build a deep trust within to really put you in alignment to the things that you're here to do and to have the energy and the commitment to see it all the way through. Now, if you happen to have your sacral center white in your chart, you are a projector, a manifester, or a reflector. You do not have your own sacral definition, which means you are feeling the life force energy in those around you. You are so-called borrowing the energy, the fuel from those within your environment. And this isn't taking from anybody else. This is there to help you recognize if the environment you are in, if the people that are in your environment, are they providing you with health and vitality in terms of their own happiness, their own inspiration, their own motivation, and really being attuned to their own energetic flow? Meaning, are they open and you are feeling the abundance of that openness and benefiting from the results of that? Or are you in an environment and around individuals who are very closed off, unmotivated, lethargic, and you may be feeling then within your own body that that is what you are experiencing? So we all have a role to play, whether you are a generator, a manifesting generator, a projector, a manifestor, a reflector. We all have a role to play in the design that we came here with. And getting to know your design and the way it operates, and whether you are pushing energy out into the world with your definition, or you are receiving energy in from the world when it is white in your chart, it's undefined, that is going to help bring you into a greater awareness of how your body, your energy flows and how it operates for you. Now, before we dive too deeply into the teachings of gate number 42, it's also important to recognize that this is the pivotal point of closing a cycle and bringing things to an end. And it's really interesting because we are in Aries season. Aries is the first of the zodiac signs. We are in the first house. And a lot of individuals have been taught that January 1st marks the start of a new year. Well, that is a man-made calendar and man-created time. When you look into astrology, the natural world, the bigger world, we celebrate the new year with the start of Aries season, with the start of the first house. There's 12 houses in the zodiac sign. So as we travel around the mandala wheel, you go through a full calendar year. So as we're closing a cycle now and bringing things to an end through gate number 42, it is recognizing that, yes, we are a few weeks into Aries season. So this is like the final countdown now to complete whatever it is you were working on through that full 360-degree cycle, where you went through and experienced all of those 64 gate activations throughout the year, and seeing if you are ready now in your own lessons to bring something to an end, to be able to finish that, let it go and say, all right, I've learned what it is that I need to learn. I'm ready now to start a new cycle. Now, cycles are different for all of us. It could be in relationship to a year. It could be in a relationship to a couple of years. We're going to learn through the teachings of Gate 42 that everything is circular in motion. Everything has a cycle. And when we reflect back for a moment on the teachings of the I Ching, it is really, really important that you find your own wholesome, balanced, and natural timed growth. Everybody is their own seed. Everybody grows at their own time. Everybody flowers exactly when they are supposed to flower, meaning to open up all of those gifts, all of that potential. When we force ourselves to do something before we are ready to do it, the foundation of you crumbles. And when it crumbles, what happens is you find yourself having to repeat the same cycle again because you didn't learn what was there to be learned to help you become bigger and stronger with your own emotional and spiritual growth. So really looking at this gate 42 as being a very pivotal time for helping us to dig in deep and to get done whatever it was that you committed yourself to, whatever you know at a sacral level, a soul level, that's important to finish, finding the energy to commit to that, really leaning into putting it to rest, bringing it to the end, and recognizing the bigger concept of the journey throughout your entire 360-degree journey around the mandala wheel that has brought you to this point of reflection. So gate 42, and you may have that already circled in your design. If you do, this energy is really a constant theme in your life. If you don't have it circled, well, then you're getting it during this gate activation in the collective consciousness at this time. It is being opened for us. So it is really teaching us about the universal law of cause and effect, which is also known as karma. So basically, you are receiving back an equal match to whatever you're giving out. So if you're participating in life, if you're being an active participant in your own life, well, then you're getting experiences and you're reaping the rewards of being an active participant for you. If you aren't paying attention to the truth of your energy, your body wisdom, you are getting a reflection back of why things are not working. So when we understand the universal law of cause and effect, and we don't take things so personally, but we recognize that the environment around us is stimulating us to grow and evolve and to carry out what the soul came here to do, then we become more aware of where we are applying ourselves, where the energy goes, where your attention is going, and not doing those things that take you away from your truth. It is very easy to get distracted. So we become more mindful in our actions and in our words and watching those emotions, knowing that whatever goes around comes around. It's just like that boomerang. If we have a bad day and we blah onto somebody else, well, you will get someone else that eventually does that same to you. And it is there so that we can learn what we are doing, how we bring impact, and to choose to do those things that are for the highest good. Now, we don't always know what is for the highest good because we have a lot of conditioning within our human design. We are a product of our environment, how we were raised, our society, our cultures. We have a long history of ancestral karma that is within our DNA that needs to be cleared up. And it can only be cleared up in time, in its own gentle release, for as the cosmic decides to bring that forward. But we can start at any moment in time to recognize that, whatever effort I put into something, it is going to increase. So I can either increase my thoughts of this is going to be hard, this is going to be bad, this sucks, and I'll get an increase of experiences that prove to me that I am correct. Or I can put a lot of energy towards doing those things that bring satisfaction. They bring joy, they bring fulfillment, they help to support the family, the community. It really spreads out. Just like a gardener planting a garden and having that harvest that feeds many. Well, that is the gate of increase. It's knowing that you got to plant the seeds. You have to do the work. You have to pick the weeds out of the mind, those fears, those self-sabotages. But when you finish what it is that you started, when you see it full circle, regardless of how long that full circle takes, you will reap the rewards and not only increase the benefits for you, but you add the increase to your environment around you. So we're going to learn that this is all in relationship to our energy. This is life force energy. And you're either open within your design, the way that your energy is flowing, because you're doing your self-actualization, you're getting to know the way your body talks to you, you're not letting your mind rule the show, but you're really leaning into your strategy, your authority, you're allowing your heart to trust in life, you're allowing yourself to respond from a higher sense of self, then you are open. The energy has the ability to flow through the channels, through the gates, so that the whole of you is operating to its best potential. In doing so, you are actively helping others and striving for the common good. And those rewards are also flowing back to you. So you're aware that it's not just all about you, there's others that are involved in the experience with you. We do impact the others based on what we are choosing to do. So when you are taking really good care of yourself, your health, your vitality, you're honoring the truth of your yeses and your nos, well, then other people get to have the best of you. When our energy is closed, when we are afraid of life, when we are not open in our relationships, we are acting from a place of fear, we are guarded, we are wearing a mask, we are not being our authentic self for whatever reason, then that is becoming self-serving. And what happens is, you're really kind of pushing your auric field in towards you, putting up boundaries, barriers, protection that is limiting your potential. And we can feel that in the body because the body feels tight. The gut feels tight, the heart feels tight, the mind feels tight. It's hard to get out there and do something new. You will feel when you are in that repressed state or that closed state. And being aware that that is self-serving isn't there to punish yourself. To punish yourself would make you be even more closed. But to recognize that, you know what, I'm being self-serving. I desire a connection with others. I desire more relationships. Well, then that simple awareness then opens you up to the possibility of allowing someone to now come in to your energy. So noticing areas of your life where it does feel unfulfilled, where your energy is blocked. And that can be in your career, in your relationship, in the family unit, with money and resources. Where do you just feel like there's no flow? So this energy is really here to help us open ourselves up, to attune to the vibration of the universe, to know that that is rich in abundance. There is more than enough for all of us. So it's really watching the stories in your mind that want to hold on to a lack story or that doesn't feel worthy enough to go for that, right? Really looking at the conditioning and reminding yourself there's more than enough. We can all go after what it is that you truly want because there's more than enough for everybody. Now, we're also learning what it is we truly want, not what the ego wants, but what the higher self, the soul self, really wants in order to feel successful, wants to feel satisfied, wants to feel like it is thriving. And you'll know that within the body of yourself. That energy is also teaching us that giving is more important than receiving. So when we give to others, we also reap the rewards of that back. And a lot of us are empaths in here. We are naturally caring and giving, but here's the clue to that. You have to be mindful of your balance. So you have to consider yourself as those scales. And you give lots, you get back lots. But if you are just giving and you are closed off to receiving, you don't receive back a compliment, you don't receive back someone's opportunity to help you, right? Then you are closing off that natural flow of energy that is meant to expand the connection between self and others and ripple it out. And now you are spreading yourself too thin. You are depleting your energy. So this is a check-in point for us as we are coming to the end of a cycle to really notice, are you in balance? Do you feel like your cup is full? Do you feel like your cup is empty? And if you feel like your cup is empty, well, where is it all going to? Where is it that you're not allowing the flow to come back towards yourself? And then reminding ourselves that we are responsible to make the changes and do the work necessary in order to create that balance within our own life. It's not about what the other is doing or how they're doing it. It's what we are accepting for ourselves by not honoring the sacral, the body's yeses and nos, and instead allowing the mind to run your life by telling you a story and a narrative that comes from a fear-based existence. So let us move into the channel of cycles to learn a little bit more about this energetic potential. And we'll see in its relationship that it's pulling energy from the root center through gate number 53, which is right underneath the gate 42, that is open at this time. That is what is creating the channel of cycles. So again, looking at your human design chart to see, do you already have that channel? And if so, this is a major influencing part over your entire design. If you don't have the channel, while this energy is being activated in the mandala wheel, you will have an opportunity to experience it. So it's really important to become familiar with the energy so that you can do some self-actualization to see how it does affect you, remembering that we go through all 64 gates during the course of the year. So the more you learn about all of them, the more you can bring it into yourself to understand yourself better. It's like taking the macro, the larger view, and bringing it into the micro, the little you, to do that contemplation. So there's always that mirror reflection. That root center in human design gives us the pressure in the form of stress to help us evolve and move forward. So in this connection, we now have gate number 42, which is all about increase and finishing, so completing that cycle. Now meeting gate 53, which is all about new beginnings and a pressure to want to start something new. So you may be feeling in your life that you're just so ready to have a fresh start, a new start. We see all this spring emerging from the earth because this is at the time following the spring equinox. So there's new life everywhere. The universe gives us a reflection of that new beginnings, and you may be really feeling in yourself that you too are just ready for something new. But here's the key to that. How many times do you start something new before finishing what was already started? And the reason for being very mindful about that is to have the awareness that even though we have the pressure to start something new, if you have already started a course and are walking a path towards a commitment between your higher self and your human self, your relationship to you, and you end that before it is done, you will be put back to the starting line to repeat that circle over again. And that is where we see ourselves sometimes repeating lessons over and over again and kind of being like, why am I back in this relationship? Why do I always attract these same kind of individuals? Why do I always end up in those kind of jobs? If we don't become aware of the pattern that we create ourselves, then you will keep repeating those lessons. So this is the final push, and you will be recognizing that there is a pressure to want to start something new, but you can channel that pressure into completing the cycle you're on, digging really deep to see it all the way through so that then you can be finished it, you can reap the benefits of that, and then you can allow your cup to be filled and ready to experience whatever it is that life is ready to handle you. So it is understanding that everything happens in a cycle. What must be started is to be completed before a new cycle can begin again. And I don't mean in terms of hobbies or interests. These are soul level things. So this is commitment to a relationship, committing to a job, committing to your finances, right? It's when you reflect back on your life, you can see a pattern of something that you have been working on or that you are stuck in. And instead of trying to figure out why am I stuck, it's really allowing yourself to apply your energy, your higher self-awareness towards whatever that activity is in order to be very mindful of what it is that it is teaching you. So you have to trust your gut response, your sacral response. For those that have that defined, to know what is correct for you, to not let the mind make those decisions, but trusting in the wisdom of the body, trusting in the way that those sacrals say your yeses beyond words and the nos beyond words, and honoring it. That is the quickest way to build the relationship, is to honor it. So yes, you're going to feel a lot of pressure. You're going to feel pressure in the form of stress. You may be looking towards your friends, your family members, others within your business, your colleagues, and wondering, well, why are they all doing stuff? Why are they getting busy doing all that? Why am I not doing that? Right? So you're not here to compete with anybody else. And we learned that gate in the teachings of Aries season as well. How we can so much get onto someone else's bandwagon and compare ourselves to someone else's progress instead of staying in your lane and really honoring your growth, your time, your rhythm, feeling all this external pressure, but knowing yourself so deeply that you don't cave in to what is not of your truth. So one of the things that I ask myself, and I'm going to share it with you guys because I have an open root center, I can feel the stresses of others, I can feel that pressure, is really asking yourself, do you have the energy to finish what you start? So yeah, the idea comes in that feels great, I really want to do something new. Pause to ask yourself, do you have the energy to finish what it is you want to start? And really let the body speak for you. Because then you're going to have that time to really connect to the energy level. Yes, the mind might want to do that, but if the energy is not here right now, it's not the correct timing for you. So you may want to write down your idea, because coming back in the future to revisit that, you might get the gut response that goes, "Ooh, yeah, right." And then you're ready for it at that time. So really watching your inspiration, your ideas, your dreams, journal them down. Don't lose them. You're just putting them like a book on the shelf to take out and read when you are ready to engage in that chapter and explore that story. So the energy is really here to support new beginnings, advancement. If you have that channel in your chart, you're really, really good at helping everybody else get started. You're like a launching pad for somebody's innovation, ideas, dreams, right? So you can put that pressure on them to help them start, to get enthusiastic about it. Now, the same thing applies to that. Are you so busy helping everybody else launch their ideas that you are not putting the energy and time into seeing your own ideas get off the ground? So that is where we have to be very mindful of, yes, it is beautiful to support others. As we support others, they in turn support us in many different forms. But are you using the narrative of the mind that says, I'm great at helping everybody else, to be a distraction to not paying attention to start what you're here to start, because it also comes with uncomfortability. Whenever we're doing something new and unknown, it comes with uncomfortability and it comes with fear. So the more you get to know who you are and the more you get the clarity of your messages and those it's go time, the more you lean into the universal love and the trust that whatever is yours to birth into life, whatever it is yours to bring forward into the world, to have a new beginning, the universe will support you. And nobody can take that away from you. It is your destined path. So you're not missing the boat by not doing it right now. The cycle will come around again, and you will be given many opportunities to jump and take a leap of faith into whatever level that you are being called towards. So remember, life is a story. It does have a beginning, it has a middle, it has an end. You are really here to only choose those books that are going to keep you engaged. You don't want to randomly pick something up and then it bores you and now I'm just going to put it aside. Because once you pick something up, once you've chosen it, you've locked your energy in. So even if it sits in the back of your closet, it sits on a shelf, it is undone, you have an energetic attachment to that. Now, manifesting generators, you are designed to not know what you like until you're actually doing the activity. So you may have a lot of things around you that are undone, but they're energetically attached to you because they're on your mind, they're in your house, they're in your awareness somehow. And you may want to do a beautiful completion of a cycle of finishing by really looking at those things, being honest with yourself of, well, which ones do you need to get done? And it doesn't mean right now, but do you need to get done? And which ones were just experiences where you allowed yourself to try, but they're not really for you? And in recognizing they're not really for you, can you let it go? Right? So can you clear that out energetically from your mind, from your space? Can you donate it? Can you do whatever in order to be completed of that? And it is surprising how many things we accumulate, we take on, we commit our energy to, only to then realize, oh my goodness, I have all of these things that are taking my time and attention. I don't have any room for anything new to come into my life. And if you don't have any room for something new to come into your life, well, you're just going to keep repeating the same pattern. And maybe you're meant to. Maybe you are doing the cycle that you're supposed to be on, and you're here to do it for another rotation to get that foundation of you stronger. So you're the only one that can feel within the depths of your body which things are ready to depart, which things have you been procrastinating that you need to get done, and which things are you still working on that need more time and attention and love, and you're ready and willing to dig deep and allow yourself to do another rotation of the journey in order to get it nice and strong. When we move into the inner alchemy for gate number 42, this is where we now introduce the gene key. So the gene key is the key that opens up the door to the gate and brings us into the inner alchemy work where we can move through the shadow, the dilemma, the gift, and the Siddhi. So in this case, we're going to be recognizing the shadow of expectation and the dilemma of disappointment, the gift of learning detachment, and the ultimate Siddhi, which is the highest light aspect, which is all about celebration. And we really are here to celebrate life and the gift of life itself. So let's start by looking at that shadow of expectation and the dilemma of disappointment. And, I have this woman here with this superhero cape on because a lot of times as empaths and sensitives, we come in and we're like, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to save the world. And we put so much time and effort into helping everything else around us. But that also creates an expectation upon ourselves of what we should handle and upon others of what we believe they should do. And when that doesn't turn out the way our mind, our stories feel that they should, we become disappointed. And it's really easy to see how this plays out in the world because we all do it. You see children doing it all the time. They get really excited about something. They expect something to happen. It doesn't happen and they're crushed. They're disappointed in that. Well, they're a reflection to us as adults of how we are still in the same kind of energy because we haven't allowed ourselves to become detached from an expectation and to just be a participant in life. So the moment desire, your desires, your passion, your motivation, as soon as that becomes entangled with projections of the mind, right? So with thoughts of your mind, expectations of the mind, it can only result in disappointment. It has nowhere else to go. The mind wants something, it doesn't happen, it is instantly disappointed. And the neocortex, so that is a part of our brain. It really is trained to see life as time flowing by. And there is anxiety that comes with a thought of, well, time is running out. So our human life is programmed to revolve around our expectations about our life and those surrounding us. And how we react to our own expectations then becomes a measure of how much trust we have in life. So we all have expectations, we all have dreams, we all have goals, we all have ambitions. The more we invest in it's gotta be this way, the more we are locking ourselves in to not seeing a bigger picture. And by locking ourselves in, we get disappointed when it doesn't go our way. We have an emotional response to that. We have a mental response to that. We have a physical response to that. It really keeps us then in that lower vibrating energies. And we're here to really notice, how does that feel? And the best way to try to test that for yourself is whenever you have a situation and it is moving away from how you expected it to be, it has moved out of your hands, it's out of your control, circumstances are changing, you feel powerless to that. How does that feel for you in your physical body, your mental body, and your emotional body? And the more you can be honest with yourself, the more you will see where work needs to be done on the foundation of you, where you need to build more trust within yourself to know how to pivot, how to change, how to roll with the flow, how to deal, how to cope, right? So it's self-assurance, self-esteem, self-compassion, all of those things that you empower yourself with as you move away from the conditioning aspects of you and you learn to build the faith within your design, your truth, your higher authority. So every time you identify with an expectation, you set yourself up for disappointment. And there's a couple ways that comes through. So we can be what is known as tunnel vision. And we kind of talked about that when we're just kind of looking through our eyes, our perceptive, right? So we have the blinders on. We don't see anything else that is going around outside of our viewpoint and whatever it is that we focused our attention on. So our vision, it sees only what we want it to see according to the expectations we hold within our mind. And when things don't turn out the way that we believed that they would, then we face our own disappointment. We created a story, we put people into characters, we see how their characters are going to play out within our story. We see how things are going to unfold around the dinner table or when we go to this event, and this is how it's going to look and feel, and this is what people's experiences are going to be, right? So we create a lot of things in our mind. And when it doesn't turn out that way, we become disappointed. So it's really recognizing that, oh, I've got my tunnel vision on. I'm trying to create a story. I'm trying to create an expectation around this. I'm trying to plan it out and recognizing, you're one little seed in this vast universe. There's so much more to your stories, to other people's stories, right? So you start to see all these other moving parts and you come out of your own tunnel vision. So it's recognizing that whenever we have those expectations, whenever we're in tunnel vision, it is taking us away from the present moment, which is the reality. And it narrows our view. We cannot see the bigger picture. So that is siphoning off your natural energy flow, and it is literally closing down the unlimited potential that does exist within each moment. So when you think of that in terms of the tunnel vision and just focusing all your energy on your story, your desired outcome, your expectation, it blocks off the mind. When your mind's blocked off, you can't get to the higher inspiration, to the third eye intuitive awareness, right? So it's almost like looking at somebody and trying to put yourself in their shoes. See from other points of reality, see what is all unfolding, and trust that you are still limited in that capacity to see. It may feel like there is no hope, but there are so many avenues of hope that do exist. We just can't see them. So you got to step into that trust in the universe to guide you, to lead you, to help you move into that unknown and to release the control that you're here to figure it all out or you're here to do everything. So we don't see the big picture when we are in that shadow of expectation. We're not engaged with life. It's only a part of living. So we've removed ourselves from seeing all that we do not wish to believe in. And this is where we have really been trained to live in a world, and we also saw this during Aries season through the gate of opinions, that we have been raised that it's either this or that. We either succeed or we fail. It's positive or it's negative. We are optimistic or we're pessimistic. It is sunshine and butterflies or it's doom and gloom. It is black or it is white. It is this or it is that, right? So we have been conditioned to pick sides. But what about all of the possibilities that exist within those spaces? You can make this into a circle where there's all this potential here and all this potential that wraps itself back in around. So everything does exist. There are good moments, there are bad moments, there are everything in between. But the truth of all that is there's just moments. We call them good or bad. They're just moments. We have an expectation, so we label it, that is good, that is bad. But they're just moments. And when we can see them as just moments, we are no longer disappointed. We are now engaging in life. We are seeing the big picture. We are moving our awareness past just our little self, and we are becoming a part of the greater totality of the world around us. Now, in a repressive state, this is known as grasping, and it's an inability to let go. So I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase, grasping at straws, right? I'm just trying to hold it on. I'm just trying to keep things together, not wanting it to end. I just want it to be like it was, right? So there's a living in the past. It's remembering how it used to be. It is a clinging energy. So there's a fear of change in there, and we all change. You're not the 5-year-old version of yourself. You're not the teenage version of yourself. Neither are the other adults in your life. But how many times do we go back? We're like, oh man, you remember that one Christmas where all this happened? I just want to do that again. And that experience cannot be recreated. It is loving that experience and holding on to the memory of how beautiful it was, but what made it beautiful? And when you really sit in the energy of what made it beautiful, well, now there is new opportunities to create beauty with the individuals that are around and have some new experiences. But at a soul level, you're clinging on to that back memory because of a certain state of being that it really liked. It really attuned to that energy. So what was it? Was it connections with others? Was it ease of conversation? Were you feeling relaxed? What was it in that experience? And instead of trying to recreate the same experience with the same people, it is recognizing that the universe is full of opportunities to have similar experiences, but they're going to look and feel differently. So it's not gone. It just needs to end in the way that it was in order for the new to be able to come in. So when we do not embrace change and allow things to die and decay naturally, when we don't give our children the freedom to go when they become an adult and they're ready to leave the house, and we keep them as little children, we prevent them from being the best that they can be, right? And that's just one example. It ends up sapping our own healthy energy and vigor. So it ends up taking, because you're worrying about it. You're trying to control what happens in that. The other person is feeling that you don't trust in them. So there is this energy of spreading out. But what is it spreading out? What is it increasing? In the gate of increasing, what is it increasing? Is it increasing fear? Is it increasing lack? Is it increasing restriction? Or is it increasing faith? Is it increasing vitality? Is it increasing abundance? What is it increasing to hold on to those things that you know deep within yourself? It is time to let it go. And also being very gentle and honest. What is the deepest fears? Why is that clinging energy there? Because there's also pieces of you that have been repressed and they're ready to heal. And when you can have those honest conversations, well, then you can start to nurture those pieces of yourself that didn't want certain things to end. So you have to become the parent that comes in and really sits with that, learns to understand that, and then helps in time to encourage it to move forward, to show that child version of yourself that the world has many potentials. There's so much to discover. There are so many new beginnings to be had. But first, that child needs to be safe in knowing that it can walk with you into that new beginning. And that is where doing our inner healing work becomes so vital. We also see that shadow of expectation as reactive. And in its reactive state, this is known as flaky. So to be flaky means unable to fully complete anything in life. And there's a lot of individuals who for whatever reason, they can get things 3/4 of the way and then they cannot finish it. And a lot of times they're so unconscious as to why they cannot finish it, but there is just a self-sabotage that comes in and says, okay, I'm done. Right? So there's a fear of completion for whatever reason in there. They avoid disappointment by not making any commitments. And then they move on before completing a natural cycle. So it's just this energy of something new, something new, something new, something new, right? Not going to commit. I don't want to disappoint anybody. I'm not going to complete that because I'm unable to do that. So I'm just going to keep moving on. I'm going to keep distracting myself and trying something new. And then recognizing, well, that's just getting me stuck, repeating those same patterns that I've been trying to get out of. I'm going nowhere really fast. Have you ever heard that expression? I'm just going nowhere fast, right? So it's like the hamster on the wheel, and you may be feeling within your body that you're just ready to get off of it. So understanding, well, there is a deep-seated inability somewhere in me that doesn't allow me to follow through with things. And why is that? What is that fear story? So in order to get off that wheel, it needs to allow for the full completion of a natural cycle to end before it can start something new, or it will need to repeat the same cycle. So when we now move into the gift aspect, this is the gift of detachment. And these are all taken as experts from the Gene Keys. So this is the material by Richard Rudd. I highly, highly recommend getting the book, Embracing Your Higher Purpose. So wanting to start off with understanding that detachment does not mean to not feel. It's not being detached from feeling. And in fact, you're actually going to feel more intensely because you're not allowing your expectation, whether that's a positive or a negative, to constrict the event that you are experiencing. And I know for myself, when I first read this in the Gene Keys, I could feel in my body a little bit of a fear when I read the words, you will actually feel more intensely. And I know that a lot of you in these courses, you are sensitives, you are empaths, you are star seeds. That feeling so deeply can be very overwhelming. And the reason that I'm bringing this forward is the more we are aware of how certain words trigger us, the more we can do our own contemplation to get to the deeper root of that. And I know for myself that when I sat in contemplation, as I'm receiving this message now, that reaction to you will actually feel more intensely, and having my heart center, my body go, oh, well, that's telling me that I have an expectation to what feeling intensely actually means. I have a positive or a negative reaction to those words. And in recognizing those things, now they allow for opportunities to, well, let go. Allow yourself to feel intensely without that expectation. So now that that expectation is recognized through the tightening of the heart, the tightening of the body, let it go. Yield to whatever it is that you are experiencing. Keep the heart open and just be present. A lot of times we get these reactions because we have a story that says, well, I'm going to have to be responsible for something. If I feel that, I'm going to have to do something about it. There's an expectation. But the only person that puts those expectations on ourselves is ourself. So celebrate, and that is the highest Siddhi in here. Celebrate whenever you recognize within your body a sensation to an expectation, a sensation to a word, a restriction to your energy. Whenever you feel to have tunnel vision, and then allow yourself to release it. That's what it means to become detached. And when you are detached, you are yielding, you're surrendering into the experience. You are allowing yourself to be present. Whatever is in the present moment, you're embracing it. So it's not even convincing yourself to accept it. You're just, all right, I'm here, right? You're available for the experience. So you're no longer separate from life. You're no longer separate from whatever it is you're going through. You're a part of it. You're part of this story that is still unwritten. You're part of the script that is being written as the moments take place. So to recognize within yourself that anytime you try to force yourself to detach, you're going to create more attachment. So if you're worried about clinging to something, then you're going to be clinging because you're going to be afraid that you're doing something wrong. If you force yourself, if you get mad at yourself, if you beat yourself up, you're going to become more tense. Your body is going to pay the price for it. If you tell yourself to just get over yourself and stop your tears, stop your emotions, well, then those just get stuck within your body, right? So a lot of us have these repressed emotions, these entrapments that we've created because we're told to just get over that. Just suck it up. Just move forward. So we want to learn how to be in the moment, be present in the experience, notice the sensations of the body, feel the sensations of the body, embrace those sensations, yield into trusting in life and knowing that detachment is going to come as you surrender and trust into life. So by doing so and by allowing yourself to express the truth of your emotions, the truth of the wisdom within your body, you're bringing yourself understanding and healing. And when you recognize that you are having an expectation, you let it go quickly. Well, now you are avoiding becoming overwhelmed by your own mental stories, your own emotions that will react to those stories. You avoid creating those energies of regret, of anxiety, of self-pity. You're not sitting in those lower vibrations. You're not creating a narrative and feeding into that disappointment stories. Detachment. It is what it is. So you're softening the mind, you're softening the body, you're allowing your inner spirit to detach from the mind and the body, to rise up, to be able to connect to that higher wisdom, to open up your chakra so that you can increase your awareness. You can increase the support that is around you from the universal love. You can come to a completion, a finalization of a cycle when you get the understanding, you get the learning lesson. And all that is required is that you sit in the power, you sit in your presence, you allow yourself to be honest, you allow yourself to feel, you keep yourself present in the reality that you're in, and you just let it be. And from its own accord, you will be given the self-actualization as you're ready to receive it so that you can complete whatever it is that you were meant to go through and then allow space for something new to come. So the gift of detachment represents the process of letting go of control over your life, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And in doing so, you become centered in your own being. The body's relaxed, the mind's relaxed, your breathing is full, you're present. It is a beautiful, beautiful state to be in. And it's remembering in the Siddhi of celebration that we're really here to celebrate the gift of life, not to be so serious about it. It is what it is. It's not personal. It feels very intimate because you are experiencing it. But we're all just a part of life, whatever is unfolding in that cosmic story. So you're here to celebrate the beginning, the ending, and all those precious moments that are in between, knowing that everything comes full circle. There's death and rebirth, there's endings and beginnings. It's all a continuation of everything. So yes, you might be going through some hard moments now, but there's another version of you that exists on the other side of those hard moments. And if you are having some really peaceful moments right now, savor them, bring them into your body. They will serve as memories when you do go through the challenges, that you have the ability to move yourself back to peace. So life gives us many experiences. We're not here to shy away from those experiences. We're not here to hide from the gift of life itself. We're here to allow ourselves to really be present in life, to not just determine whether we want to be present in something positive and ignore the negative. It's understanding that all things exist, not turning a blind eye to the good, the bad, and the ugly, but accepting all that is present for you and allowing your inner self to hear what needs to be heard in order to walk the course that is your destined path. So enjoy the teachings of gate number 42. There's a lot there to reflect upon. And I look forward to connecting with you in our last gate activation in Aries season, gate number 3, which is also known as beginnings.